So, it was nice to be freer.
Okay, everyone, thank you.
Tennis fans saw one of the most fascinating collaborations the WTA Tour has created in years for just 80 minutes. Before Alex and Venus Williams' incredible run ended with a straight sets quarterfinal loss at the Bad Homburg Open, that was all of their time together. However, the outcome was never the only consideration. It was about a 21-year-old rising star named Alex playing tennis with one of the greatest champions in tennis history, the same person who shaped Alex's current trajectory. They were more than just a doubles team. It represented the generational transfer of the torch. After watching this film, you'll see why this quarterfinal defeat, which many casual fans may have ignored, could turn into one of the most poignant and significant events of the grass court season. The score doesn't tell the whole picture, so let's put this outcome in perspective. The second-seeded doubles pair of Slovakia's Tereza Mihalikova and Great Britain's Olivia Nichols defeated Alex and Venus Williams 6-3, 6-2. These two-season doubles experts ended one of the most thrilling partnerships of the grass court season in just 80 minutes. However, the final score does not accurately reflect how the match started. Taking an early 3-2 lead in the first set while holding serve and appearing totally at ease together, Alex and Venus came out with confidence. The audience reacted with increasing anticipation, thinking they would be seeing another outstanding performance from the odd duo. Then, all of a sudden, everything was different. Mihalikova and Nichols seized total control, winning 6 straight games to take the first set and jump out to a 2-0 lead in the second. Alex and Venus had gone from leading the match to chasing it in what seemed like an instant. However, Alex and Venus's bad performance wasn't the most important lesson. The true story served as a reminder of one of the most difficult truths in tennis. Star power is frequently outweighed in doubles by years of chemistry, communication, and expertise. A strong team may make the difference appear much bigger than the names on the court would indicate, regardless of how skilled each player is individually. You must consider who Alex and Venus were up against in order to truly comprehend what transpired. Olivia Nichols and Tereza Mihalikova weren't two singles players trying out doubles at the last minute. They were a well-established squad that had participated in 9 straight competitions together, developing the kind of camaraderie that can only be achieved through months of side-by-side competition. They arrived in Bad Homburg as one of the hottest combinations on grass after winning the doubles title at the Queen's Club Championships earlier in June, demonstrating just how dangerous they were. Alex and Venus, a partnership that had hardly lasted more than a day, stood across the net. That degree of innate communication and trust just cannot be developed quickly, regardless of an individual's aptitude. Not even if one of your partners has won 7 Grand Slam singles titles. It was impossible to overlook such discrepancy due to the statistics. Alex and Venus put a lot of effort into creating 4 breakpoint opportunities in the first set, but they were only able to convert 1. In contrast, Mikova and Nichols only had 3 breakpoint opportunities and took advantage of each one. That was what made the game different. The door opened slightly for Alex and Venus, but they were unable to push their way through. However, the seasoned pair never hesitated to take advantage of opportunities, demonstrating why chemistry and execution are still the most powerful tools in doubles tennis. You can learn nearly everything about how the game was determined from those 2 data. However, they failed to explain why so many supporters were moved by this loss. You have to consider Alex's current professional status and the tremendous momentum she brought to Bad Homburg in order to comprehend it. Alex is not an unexpected tale nor a fortunate wild card taking advantage of a fleeting stint in the limelight. This season, she has been among the most attractive young players on grass. She won the WTA 125 championship in Birmingham earlier in June, then at the Berlin Open, she had a breakthrough run to her first WTA semifinal. She proved that her accomplishment was not an exception by defeating some of the biggest names in the sport along the road, including Elina Svitolina. Even though Alex was only 21 years old, she already had a stellar 9-2 record on grass by the time she got to Bad Homburg, making her one of the most dangerous young stars on the surface. And an even greater milestone has resulted from that incredible run. Alex will be the 29th seed going into Wimbledon, a status that is much more meaningful than just putting a number next to her name. It symbolizes months of unrelenting progress, hard-won successes, and an increasing conviction that she is a member of the elite. Getting a seated spot at the world's most famous event is a strong indication that Alex is becoming one of the top players in the sport rather than chasing them, especially for a woman who just recently made her big break. Alex is about to create history. Beyond her own accomplishments, she is poised to become the first Filipino player to be seeded in a Grand Slam singles draw. It is a time of great national pride for a nation where no tennis player has ever achieved this level on the largest stage of the sport. Alex carries the hopes of millions of Filipino fans who have witnessed her incredible climb with her every time she steps onto the Wimbledon grass. When asked what it meant to her to be a seed at Wimbledon, Alex said, "To be a seed in a slam and Wimbledon in particular, it truly resonates with me." The intensity of the event was encapsulated in those straightforward words, asterisk. This is the accomplishment of a national ideal, not just another ranking milestone. However, the story takes on much greater significance at that point. You have to glance across the internet and recall who Alex chose to share the court with in order to fully comprehend why this doubles combo captivated tennis fans worldwide. Venus Williams, a 5-time Wimbledon singles champion, a 22-time doubles champion, and a living legend of the sport, stood next to her. This was more than just another doubles contest for Alex. It was the unique chance to battle with one of the best players the game has ever seen, whose legacy inspired a whole new generation of winners. When you think about Venus Williams, the importance of this collaboration becomes even more apparent. She is among the best doubles players in history, having won 22 career titles, including 14 Grand Slam victories. Venus was already winning significant awards and altering the course of women's tennis long before Alex was born. She is more than just a former champion. She is a living example of tennis history whose impact goes well beyond the awards in her cabinet. Alex's response to playing with her felt so sincere because of this. There were no prepared responses or cliched praises. Rather, Alex remarked, asterisk, I am incredibly thrilled. Venus has done a great deal for the sport and is still a trailblazer. She plays a major role in why women's tennis has been a trailblazer for women's sports, as I like to say. Instead than just praising a doubles partner, those remarks conveyed the respect of someone discussing a lifelong inspiration. Growing up, Alex witnessed a version of women's tennis that Venus helped develop, a sport where young players from nations with no tennis tradition could feel like they belonged on the largest stages, possibilities were increased, and barriers were broken. Alex now got the opportunity to stand next to one of the women who made it possible for him to become the first Filipino player to be seeded in a Grand Slam singles draw at the age of just 21. That's what made our collaboration so unique. It was more than just winning games. The past and the future of women's tennis were on the same side of the court, if only for a fleeting but memorable moment. It was about one generation motivating the next. It didn't take a dramatic parting speech or an emotional news conference to grasp the significance of our collaboration. The instant Alex and Venus entered the court together, the significance was clear, and the experience is made even more amazing when you take into account how exceptional Venus Williams' career has been. Venus has won 49 WTA singles titles, 5 Wimbledon singles trophies, 22 doubles titles, including an incredible 14 Grand Slam doubles titles, and is a former world number 1 in both singles and doubles. Her achievements cut across generations. In actuality, before Alex was even conceived, Venus had already established a renowned career and amassed significant titles. For Alex, this was more than just sharing a locker room or trading practice sessions with a legendary figure in the sport. She had the chance to name one of the best tennis players in history her partner as she took the court. Imagine the feelings that accompany that. The pressure to live up to the standards of a champion whose legacy has influenced the present game, the thrill of fighting with a boyhood inspiration, and the pride of earning that chance. There are no ranking points to quantify those encounters. Maybe that's why this story has such a melancholy vibe. Everyone was aware that this collaboration was doomed to fail. It was always a brief partnership, a unique grass court reunion prior to the start of Wimbledon. Nevertheless, admirers couldn't help but speculate about what may happen if the fairy tale persisted. Rather, the adventure ended nearly as swiftly as it had started after just one tournament and 80 minutes in the quarterfinals. Nevertheless, Alex left with something far more significant than another win, regardless of the outcome. She made a memory that would go down in history as one of the pivotal events of her early career by sharing the court with one of her biggest inspirations. The conclusion of this tale was not controversial. There was no argument, disappointment, or drama off the court that caused Alex and Venus to part ways. With the completion of a one-week grass court campaign before to Wimbledon, their union concluded precisely how it was always supposed to. They were defeated by an experienced doubles combination that performed better in crucial situations. That is the reality of doubles tennis, where chemistry and experience frequently make all the difference. This ideal collaboration ended as soon as it had begun. However, the fact that fans were given a peek of how exceptional it could have been is what makes the conclusion so sad. Alex and Venus appear to have been playing together for years during the round of 16. Their movement and communication clicked almost immediately as they stormed to a commanding 4-0 lead. Venus confidently served out the match to earn an amazing 6-3, 6-4 triumph. The partnership exceeded all expectations for one memorable evening. Fans had cause to think that this unusual pair may have a fantastic run together. The trip ended less than a day later. That's what makes sports so fascinating and often so tragic. As soon as you start thinking about what might be conceivable, reality has a